Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, Moana Pasifika at home, taking on the Hurricanes. Now, Moana Pasifika, they're on a little bit of a losing streak at the moment. 3 losses up against the Force, the Reds, and the Highlanders, but they've been pretty close in a couple of those contests. They've scored a lot of points. The problem has been they've also conceded quite a few. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, they are going to be as follows. Moana Pasifika with James Lay, Sana Revi, and also Sione Mafaleo as the front row. He will be up against his old side. That is not the first time you will hear us say that either for the starting lineup. Tom Savage and Alan Craig in the locking duo. Miracle Whaelangi at 6, Adi Savia at number 7. So this will definitely be an interesting game for him. He's been one of the standouts for Moana Pasifika so far, and now he's going head-to-head with his old Canes side. In the number 8 jersey, it will be Tupo Tailoa to close out the Moana Pasifika 4-pack. Jonathan Tamatine up against his old side. He will be there at number 9 with Pellegrini moving into the starting lineup at 10. Danny Tawala and Lalomilo on the outside. Kieran Tumafalau out on one wing. Solomon Alaimalo out on the other. And William Havili at number 15. Looking through at the Hurricane starting lineup, it will be Luakai at 1. Jacob Devery 2 and Tavita Mafaleo as the number 3. Now, straight away, quite a few changes for the Hurricanes here. And, we've seen a couple upsets already. New Zealand sides being beaten by the Brumbies and also by Fiji and Roa. Have the Hurricanes gone a little bit light into this contest, perhaps underestimating this Moana Pasifika side? In the locking duo will be Caleb Delaney and Isaiah Walker Leowiri. And then Brad Shields, number 6. Peter Lakai, 7. So no Duplessis Karefi. And then at number 8, it is Braden Yossi. Close out the 4-pack. Eritana Enery will be starting at 9 with Harry Godfrey at 10. Peter Umanga Jensen alongside Balin Sullivan. And Kini Naholo, Natunani Punivai out on the right. And Ruben Love at number 15. But those are the starting lineups for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Shields and Adi Savia side by side there. Something was said, and Adi Savia gave a little nod. Going to be an interesting game for Savia here up against his old side. Stacked bench for the Hurricanes. They have got Karefi, Pasilio Tosi, Xavier Numia, and Cam Roygard, who will all be able to make their way onto the field. For Moana Pasifika, they have got Jackson Garden Bishop off the bench rather than in the starting side. They have also got Samuel Slade, who made a bit of an impact last week for Moana Pasifika. But in the chat, we have got there, Bring the Pain Pacifica, says Big Eights. And how's it, Hamish? Busy day for you? Busy indeed. We have just scheduled all those other streams that we are going to be doing a little bit later on. So that includes the URC. That includes the 2 games of the 6 Nations as well. How's it going, Hamish? Busy day. And also, Power just got back on. All slept good through the cyclone. Now just got 150 mils of rain coming. How you doing, Hamish? Says Heath. I'm doing all right. I managed to play my cricket today earlier on, which is why we only covered half the Fiji and Roa versus Chiefs game, and that was also a big upset, but hopefully you are staying safe, Heath, as, plenty of rain expected in the near future. And Drew Hamish, New Zealand losing this round, says Blues, Nate. And thank you, mate. Lesanati says Sky City. Right, so they are presenting a gift to every visitor, they've just said, who comes to Moana Pasifika's home ground. And up the cane, says Paula. And we have got there, how's it, Hamish? Let's go the cane, says Anthony. And thank you, mate. Moana, says Sky City. And also we have got there, as for your day, or here's for a good day of streaming, says Sebastian. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. And of course, the later games will be at a slightly better time for you, although relatively close to the morning for yourself currently. Hamish doesn't like the Aussie games. I absolutely love the Aussie games. We normally end up watching the replays of them. I assume you're referring to the fact that I'm not covering Western Force versus Waratahs, but with 10 hours worth of streaming in about a 12-hour window, I feel like we're allowed 2 hours of a rest in between, I would think. But that's just me. And hi, Hamish, says Daniel Watson, welcome in, and thank you, mate. Moana, says Sky City, and W's from Paula. The win prediction is 80% for the Hurricanes, but a few of the other games had that same kind of win prediction. Let's go, Artie, says Sky City. We are now ready to go for this match. The Hurricanes, they are kicking it off from left to right. And nicely taken by Kieran Tumafalau inside of the Moana Pasifika 22. And I am here for now. I might not see it out. See you as Moa Hunters. Well, it is great to have you here just for now anyway. Pellegrini has kicked that ball into touch, and the Hurricanes decide against the quick throw. I'm sad, and you can probably guess why. Says Novmum, was it the 15 penalties against the Chiefs, Novmum, or perhaps the double figures with the handling errors, or perhaps just the fact that they did lose? Probably one of those three, if not all, I would assume is the case. Yeah, far from the best game for the Chiefs, but they'll bounce back. They're still probably going to be top of the table at the end of this round. That's a nice run from Balin Sullivan, almost sneaking through, but Artie Savia makes the tackle on him. First try, Artie says Sky City. And I Hamish says, Gus, welcome in. And Cam Roygaard, 21, that's dangerous. Certainly is. Like, whether that man's in a starting lineup or off the bench, that's actually where he found himself a little bit. Oh, that was almost a tip tackle on Artie Savia. He said, I've landed on my head, ref. The ref said, where? I wasn't watching. Now, nice run forward from Natunani Punevai. At least they got the losing bonus point. That is true. That was one of the big bonuses from that game for the Chiefs. Now, Eritara Eneri goes back across to Braden Yossi. Back again, Hammy. Pacific Ocean for me. And not necessarily Hamish. If the Reds beat the Satyrs, they will go top. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, it's gonna take a big win, but they'll be relatively up there, won't they? Either 1, 2, or 3. In fact, we'll give them top 4, just so that it doesn't infuriate you too much. And big love, brother, been grafting all week. Today we are enjoying the rugby. Tomorrow I'll be taking the final or family out for my birthday. Says Sebastian. But also just go back to that table very quickly. It's going to be an interesting finish to this round, I would say, just because, you know, the Chiefs have opened the door. Fiji and Roar, they moved themselves up to around 7th. This one isn't completely updated. We'll have the more updated table at the end of the round for that Crusaders versus Reds game. That's going to be tomorrow afternoon. We are hoping to do that contest unless something drastic happens. Back weights, 925 kgs for the Canes compared to the 917 kgs of Moana Pasifika. Taking the family out for... Wait, so is your birthday tomorrow, Seb, or the day after? Because I know time zones are very tricky to know. So is your birthday the 9th or is it the 10th? And they suck to donkey butt, says Nov Mama. Back again, Hammy says Spider Meg. Nice attack and run from Peter Larkai. Now 25 metres out from the line. Eritara Eneri going back across to Harry Godfrey. Bit of a low pass from Peter Umaga Jensen, but the quick hands in the midfield now opens up the pass to Ruben Love. First game back for him since he's had his injury. That's going to be a knock-on tomorrow, the 9th, says Sebastian. So that means we've got to wait until... When do we have to wait until? We have to wait until around probably either the Reds versus Crusaders game or the England-Italy, more than likely, will be when we can wish you a happy birthday. Peter Larkai now down the wing, tackled by Jonathan Tamatine. Always hard to stop that man when he gets in motion. Another drop ball for Isaiah Walker-Leowiri. And a scrum feed now for Moana Pasifika. Happens quite a bit for that man, Walker-Leowiri. One of the biggest frames around, but his hands, as big as they are, don't seem to hold the ball. The luck guy driving hard from tackle attempt of Tamatine and Kieran Tumafalau. And then Lakai also making even more metres throughout that next carry that they are showing. England better not ruin my birthday. See Sebastian, Reds need a win. Bonus point and a points differential more than 24. Somewhere around there, I believe is the case. But yeah, they're going to need a big win. 3 or more tries than the Crusaders. Going to be tough to do. Handling errors already. We're seeing 3 from the Hurricanes and we're only 4 minutes in. Tamatine ready to put that ball in. Like they are just saying, the Mafaleo brothers up against each other in this match. Sione and Tavita. Now kick downfield from Tumifalau. Sits up for Ruben Love close to the touchline and he has kicked that one back infield. Tom Savage is back there. Pass it across to William Harvillian. True brother, happy birthday for tomorrow, my bro. Aharoa nui to the whānau. Solid Sebastian, you're a bit late on the stream, about 30 seconds, says Paula. That will depend on what we're watching on, because we're watching on Sky Sport now. That is normally a bit more delayed. That's going to be another penalty. Had a few of them already throughout this match, and it does look like there's an injury for Ruben Love. No. That's Harry Godfrey, I believe. I had to turn my head sideways so that I could work out who it was. But yeah, he went for that kick, and then does take the big shot from Alan Craig. Right now, 1 lose. Or one loss won't make the difference for the Chiefs unless the Reds win later on. Says Vaughan. Yeah, it's a bit of an ugly one, Alan Craig. He jumped through trying to make it, but playing the player without the ball, the penalty, that does end up going against him here. What happened to Reddish Nose? Eating too much spicy food, Hamish says. Rock, I think it's more hay fever. Plus the lighting's a bit weird today. I think it's possibly the white shirt is making my face look a bit redder than it actually is. I like how you've said kia ora after asking me if I'm, like, well, because I've got a weird, like, blemish. Thank you very much, mate. Sending you all the best wishes as well, says Sebastian. Now ready to throw this ball in for the Hurricanes. They'll be about 10 metres out from the line. Tomatine, it looks like he's actually going off for an HIA. So, not really what they would have been wanting. Okay, got you, says Rock My Balls. And Chimabro says Blues Nate there, now looking for the rolling maul. It hasn't really made too many metres as of yet, but Devery is still waiting for that chance to go. A few more metres made. 5 metres out from the line, he hands it off to Eritara Eneri. It's away to Peter Umanga Jensen. Back to the right-hand side. Brad Shields tackled low. Offloads it back. No one really expecting it. The ball's gone backwards and Mafaleo picks it up. Are you mods? Says Paula. Am I mods? Do I have mods? I do have mods, if that is the question. Eritara Eneri goes across to Isaiah Walker. Leo Wiri. Tackled by Mafaleo. Savia tried to get that still in the breakdown. Braden Yossi lost the heat gear. It's crossed the other side of the field. Eritara Eneri, short ball to Ruben Love. Runs straight at two of the bigger players on the field for Moana Pasifika. And Bailon Sullivan tackled by Lalomilo. 10 metres from the line up to 8 phases in a row. I've got a busy day today. Mini game, says Gwandili. We certainly do about 10 hours worth. And then after those 10 hours, we've still got afternoon games tomorrow. Now, sneaking almost through was Peter Umanga Jensen. I think Isaiah Walker Leowiri's ended up on the wrong side of their breakdown. Now they do have to release. Eritara Eneri going across now. Skip pass out to Kenny Naholo. It's going to be wrestled down well by Pellegrini. Went in with possibly the extended forearms or elbows for Kenny Naholo. Has to be very careful doing that. Eritara Eneri pop pass up to Caleb Delaney. And they'll go back for the original penalty after 13 phases. Hurricanes not quite able to break through. Set a pretty long penalty advantage, but they really went nowhere throughout that period of time. And howdy, Hamish. Games look promising here. Says Studs Ray. Yeah, they're certainly in the right direction in terms of start. I mean, they had 3 quick handling errors, but after that, I think they'll be all right. We have got their breaking news. The Chiefs been in an accident. They crossed the red line, crashed into the drawer. The drawer came out triumph. Says Spider Mick. And where's the host Samoa? So they are actually at North Harbour Stadium. So that is their New Zealand base for Moana Pasifika. But I believe they will have games in Samoa and Tonga as the season does wear on. So far we've seen Moana Pasifika have to make 29 tackles by bro. Says Paula. We will see you later. But now, Jacob Devery. We're going to throw this one in for the Hurricanes. Well claimed by Caleb Delaney. They're in a good position at the moment. 3 metres, that's gone down now, and I believe that's legally sacked by Moana Pasifika, but the ball has come out. No, it hasn't. And the scrum feed now for Moana, just out from their own line. The Blues medical team has confirmed that Bowden Barrett, who was forced out of the game at half-time, has suffered a hand fracture. The injury requires ongoing assessment before determining details of treatment or time required for recovery. There you go. Hopefully we do know in the relatively near future, because the Blues, I mean, yes, it changed a lot when he went off, but Cole Forbes, I think, still did extremely well in that 15 jersey throughout a majority of the contest. Yes, there were a couple handling errors there, but I mean, the Blues, they reached, 15 handling errors throughout that match, so yeah, it was certainly a day for it. And come on, Moana, do it for the draw, says Zion. Give you right, cheers for the update, bro, says Matthew. You have the best moderator, and they are Sebastian and Blues Nate, best in the business. They are real gentlemen. Says JD and Sup Hamish, by the way. Hope you've been well. Says I'm doing very well, mate. Currently, possession is 80% in favour of the Hurricanes, which, fun fact, was the percentage that they were expected to win this game. So it's kind of replicating that, except there's no points on the board at the moment. Do you think Ireland will win the Six Nations? I think that this game coming up for them is definitely going to tell us a lot. If they beat the French, then absolutely. If France win, then at least we get one more round where those games mean something, rather than it all being secured before reaching that period. Halo is on the field, and that is due to Jonathan Tamatine going off for the HIA. We have got there, don't forget you have Poa versus Matutu or Matatu tomorrow, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, although the game that we are doing will be Crusaders versus Reds if we do end up doing an afternoon fixture. And Kane's still missing a Moore, Lomax, Proctor, and Higgins, says Crimson. So yeah, that list is getting longer and longer, unfortunately, for them in terms of those injuries. I think they're also missing, is it Devon Flanders? Is he out at the moment with an injury? Where are they playing? They are playing at North Harbour Stadium. So, yeah, a New Zealand game for this contest. Little chip in behind attempted by the Hurricanes and Harry Godfrey, who had a great game last week for the Canes. I think for the kind words, mate, have been a bit too busy as of late. We need more in the chat. There might be a few later on if we're well, lucky and unlucky, I guess. Lucky for you, unlucky for myself. Chiefs need a whole month recovery from that draw game. They brutally hammered, says Rock. And all right, let's go, Kane, says Judah. Now nicely taken by Balin Sullivan. Goes off to the left-hand side yet again here. Ruben Love tackled on the halfway line. Trying to get that turnover was Tupo Taialoa. And what do you make of India playing all their games in Lahore when all the teams were travelling? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because, the more you get into it, the more careful you've got to be about it. But it does give them a certain advantage, I believe, anyway. But then with the reasonings behind it, if you say anything too much, you can get in the trouble, of course. But, yeah, it's definitely set up for them to do well in this comp. And it wasn't because of the host nation in terms of, they didn't do it on purpose, if that makes sense, for the way that it's set up. As both Peter's playing, it's Peter Umaga Jensen and Peter Larkai, both out there on the field. I don't know whether or not we've got a third Peter. Sadly not, I don't think. But yeah, just the two for this game. Who else is a Peter in World Rugby we could add to one of these teams? Peter Pan. I can't think of anyone. That's going to be kicked high by the Hurricanes. That's gone very high, but nicely taken by Eritara Enery. Let's call it what it is. Hamish rigged, says Suds Race. Why don't New Zealand win the ICC, says Rock. It will be a massive game for them, and we are going to be covering, we're going to be talking about that game a little bit, because as the matchup progresses between England and Italy tomorrow, that game is going to be taking place, so we'll be able to give little updates about it. Peter Larkai, that is true. Peter Larkai, Peter Umaga Jensen, they're the two we had, but we were looking for a third. I can't think of another Peter in World Rugby other than those two. Peter. No, haven't got one. It's set up corrupted. How can India stay put while the rest travelling? Says Spider-Man. Yeah, like I said, they're certainly in a position where they should win it. But if New Zealand caused a massive upset, it would be against all odds because of the way that it's shaped up. Nice run forward from, I think it was Braden Yossi again without his headgear. I think he's just decided to leave it off for now. And that's going to be a knock-on the ground from Savia just as he was going through for the counter ruck. Seeing it there. It was a good steal from Caleb Delaney initially. And yeah, Jacob Devery getting a little bit isolated. Brad Shields went straight through and then just had the knock-on in that breakdown. What is the accurate time at the moment for myself? It is 13 minutes 44 seconds. One moment. I'll shift the mouse and give it a wiggle and hopefully... There we go. Okay, that one's about a minute quick at the moment. It's actually quite bad that I forgot him, Sebastian, seeing as I literally made him my thumbnail for the Irish versus French game. Well, there's a player called Harry Potter in the Island squad, says Quan Dele. He's playing for the Western Force this year, I believe. Peter Hewitt says Rock, and fair enough. No worries, matey, and certainly enjoy your guys' company, sorry, says JD. Peter Alatini, retired now, says Hemi. The best name in Super Rugby Pacific is Harry Potter. And the fun fact about it is he was born before the books came out. So he didn't have a choice about the name situation. But I'm sure he heard plenty about it while growing up. Another scrum here. We've had quite a few. Neither side having a huge amount of dominance here. No, he wasn't, says Judith. No, he was. We did all the Googling during a premiership game a while ago when he used to play for the Leicester Tigers. You're a wizard, Harry. And Peter Pan says, rock my balls. I looked it up, says Judith, but we looked it up and we found that he was born before the book came out. Probably not before the book started being written, but before the book was published, Potter was kicking about. 15 minutes in. They're saying Ruben Love actually going very well since coming out from his injury. A Moana, you can do it just like the draw and just like the Brumbies. At the moment, New Zealand sides are 0 from 2 for this round. This will make it 0 from 3, which would be almost unheard of. But still plenty of time remaining. Kane's had a tough game up against the Fijian drawer. J.K. Rowling stole his name, says Nort. Now Braden Yorsi breaking off. The back goes through and scores the try. And he is fired up about it too, Braden Yorsi. Hey man, was your day ready for a good night of streaming, says Wayne. It went all right. A little bit of cricket. It did take place. And yeah, now we're straight into our second live stream. We managed to squeeze in the second half of the game between the Fijian drawer and the Chiefs, which was quite cool because we did see a big upset there. It's going to be a great finish from Braden Yossi, just breaking off the back. And then goes through. First Harry Potter book came out in June 1997. So if we go Harry Potter Rugby, he was born... Oh, to be fair, it says he was born 15th of December 1997, so maybe he's been a little bit unlucky. I've just said Harry Potter as a Gryffindor seeker. That's one of the things that came up. But yeah, I think he's done an interview about it before and said it was no relation to the books, because we've also got to remember the books may have come out in June 1997, but like the books, his parents, I don't believe they had even read them. Or like had even heard about them at the time, because it took a little while for those books to start kicking off. I know it says Nort. You trying to say he's a wizard, Nort, maybe? And Canes are not easy to beat, says Rock. Yeah, now 7-0 on the board for the Hurricanes, so we don't know. No, he has said in an interview in the past that he wasn't named after them. His parents didn't name him because of the books. Harry Potter is already a popular name before those books are published, says Rock. Oh, a little bit of an awkward one there. I think Pellegrini was trying to go back for it. Now, oh, great take from Ruben Love. Big collision with him and Tuma Falau. Yossi is a beast. Very good player. The popularity really took off after 2 years or so, says Sebastian. And Harry Potter is already a popular name. But now, Sanarevi runs straight at Brad Shields. Back across to the right-hand side, Alan Craig. Okay, fair enough, but there will always be a little bit of doubt. I mean, I think he confirmed that it wasn't, though. But I guess for the Harry Potter faithfuls, they'll like to think that maybe there's some sort of correlation. I think the only way to judge it is to see him run straight at that brick wall and see if he goes through. If he doesn't, he'll get a concussion, but we'll know he's not a wizard. Only way to do it. Where's platform 9 3/4 at? That's going to be a penalty to Moana Pasifika. That is against Isaiah Walker Leowiri, and that is for not rolling away. Okay, what does this guy have? The same first and last name, Lalomilo. It's easy to remember. And all good, says Rock. They're going to kick this one for the corner, Moana Pasifika, or he breaks the wall. That wall looks pretty solid, though. So I feel like if he broke it, there'd be more concerns that he's some sort of bionic individual rather than a wizard. Why is the Tutu not playing? He got suspended. He got a 3-match suspension for a red card. He was a bit naughty and tried to smash Peter Lakai in the forehead. Not on purpose, of course, but it did ride up. So then, that's what happened. They must kick for the 3. And they've gone aggressive. And maybe you should go with the score. What you got on Rugby 25, says Brandon. It might not be a mile off. We did pretty well in that game up against Moana, but now rolling maul for Moana Pasifika. They've got themselves the penalty advantage as well here. Hurricanes trying to slow it down. They won't stop them. And Moana Pasifika get on the board. Little bit of afters as well. Lakai not happy about getting pushed. As he Samoan Peter Lakai. Not sure of his exact origins, other than the fact that he's got an All Blacks cap to his name already. Did the Hurricanes do a haka? Not that I saw. But that does not mean that they didn't. We have got there, come on, Moana, says Naughty. And also JKR stated that she picked the name Harry Potter because it was the most common sounding name she could think of. And I guess there is probably, I wonder how many Harry Potters there are who were born before the movies came out. Ruby Love is playing well. So is Ruben. He's had a great start since coming back from his injury, but we are currently 20 minutes into this contest. Score is sitting 7 points to 5. Another test, see if he can play Quidditch. Maybe. Although there's a pretty popular Quidditch league overseas, isn't there? I just feel like, if they could fly, they'd be on fire. It's going to be kicked by Pellegrini. It's gone over 2. And that's now going to make the score 7 points each. Hi Blues Nate, been a while, and good luck Moana, says hey, and Cheese to Dark earlier today, says Rock. Let's go Moana, says Blues Nate in there as well, but great finish. Okay, I think I see why there was a little bit of push and shove afterwards, but the try scorer in that case, I believe it was Samisi Tupo Tailoa. As Iawaka is going to cost the Hurricanes the game, says Daryl. He's already dropped the ball and he's already had another mistake that led to the penalty, which then brought on the opportunity. Every time they kick the ball high, it seems to kind of just stop. In fact, sorry, Miracle Langi was the try scorer there, I should say, rather than the number 8, Pellegrini managing to step around the man in front of him. Now Harry Godfrey takes it on the halfway line. It's down the middle of the field. Well taken by William Havili. And he does get the ball into touch. Pellegrini starting 10. Bishop's coming off the bench. While this match, you think Aussie will win over the Lions this year? Me think no. Says Brandon. I think it's going to be competitive, which is great news because honestly, it looked like it was going to be anything but a little while ago. So if they can keep it close and have a decent crack, then I'll be more than happy. And are you back in the Highlanders or the Hurricanes to win? Says Levi. I assume you're talking for their next week's head rather than this game. Now Zaiwaka Leowiti. To 45 metres out from the line. Balin Sullivan goes back to Godfrey. Finds Natunane Punivai in behind. Flicks it on the inside. And passes it straight into the hands of Kieran Tumafalau. All upsets this weekend, says him. Yeah, no favourite has won as of yet. So that will make Moana Pasifika have that little bit more confidence. Sitting 7 points each. Lions versus Australia at Vegas. Says Nort. Now Ruben Love tries to step. Almost turned over in the breakdown from James Labour. Eritana Inari goes across to Jacob Devery. Now again, back to the left-hand side. Mafaleo goes straight through. Oh, what a pop pass that is to Caleb Delaney. And they will continue marching forward here for the Hurricanes. Now Devon Flanders goes off to Peter Lakai. Now Eritare Henry Shields tries to shovel the ball on. Oh, it's play on from the ref. This is a try unless there's going to be some sort. Okay, Love's saying I want to get it checked. It's come off the knee. I don't think a hand was involved there. So that's a big moment. Do you think the All Blacks will do well in France? 3 tests. So can we get 3 tests back to Australia? Not going to happen, says Brandon. I love the style of the Fijians and the Samoans, so much flair. Here's Dan, and if you were going to start a Super Rugby team, you take any player who would you take for your first pick of the current players to build your team around. Are you talking about current Super Rugby players or anyone in the world that you can take? And Moana need to do more home matches in Tonga and Samoa. They should have the pride for their team, same as the Fijian Roar did, says Rock. Now Godfrey to line up this kick of a try that did stand. He has missed it away to the left, so that will keep the score at 12 points to 7. Already 3 tries have been scored throughout the first 23 minutes of this match. It has been a high-scoring one already. And yeah, it came off the knee of Ruben Love, which is why it was play on. And to be fair, the ref's done well there, because if he had said it was a knock-on, then we wouldn't have seen the continuation. We have got the I Cancel My Sky Sport Now, any other network that shows Super Rugby. Australia with Stan Sport does. I think a few of the games are on Prime every once in a while here in New Zealand, but your best bet's probably like the highlights, but then you might want, like in terms of the full game, it's very hard to find the options, but the Where to Watch section of Super Rugby's website will give you your best option depending on where you are. But yeah, for New Zealand, I believe it is just Sky Sport Now is the main way to watch it. Right, Sanarevi about to throw this ball in. Don't the NRL players make more money? Or is it the same? Depends on the player, but the top NRL guys do get paid probably... Well, it depends on the currency as well, as another thing to mention. Because, you know, when you look at some of those guys overseas getting, let's say, £1.5 million, that was close to the turnover. Do you think Antoine Dupont is legitimately the best player in the world at the moment, says Dan Botta? I think that that's one of those questions that no matter what answer you give, it starts an argument. Because some people say that he is, some people say that he's not, and there's not really an in-between, it would seem. That if you say he's a very good player and definitely right up there, people still say, nah, you're not allowed to say that. Hamish, did you have cricket or did it rain like Hamish weather forecast say last night? So it didn't end up raining until after the game finished, but we only had a shortened match. But yeah, so it wasn't too bad overall weather-wise. Now, it's going to be Jonathan Tamatine to feed this ball in, 25 minutes in. My boy Yossi got me on fantasy. Says Pads Ablaze, not really no, but I could still upload on YouTube. And can Hamish get Hamish on interviews again if he's down, if he got time. That's a great kick from Patrick Pellegrini. Gets the 50-22. So he has a little bit of a pass feint that then creates that big gap in behind. Tell you what, that was only about a metre away from the sideline, so extremely close to being out on the full, but sometimes that is the risk that you have to take. Our line-out throw here for Sanarevi. See if he can get this one in nice and straight. Give Moana Pasifika another opportunity with that rolling ball, well claimed by the last try scorer, Miracle. Vaialangi, here's Adi Savia with possession. Run down by Isaiah Walker, Leo Wiri. Tamatine goes across to Alan Craig. Rush defence there from, playing the 9. That's going to be an easy penalty for the referee to give in favour of Moana Pasifika. Tamatine now going across to the left-hand side again. Tamatine up to Savia. I'll look to shut him down relatively early. Of course, an old teammate of a lot of these Hurricanes players. Now Tamatine, that was playing the 9 again, I believe, from Isaiah Walker, Leo Wiri. So he gives away a new one. And that's now 2 penalties against him right in front of the post. A bit of a penalty magnet at the moment, it would seem. As Pellegrini Australian. I'm not actually, I think, is he Tongan? I could be wrong. I'll have a quick Google. Patrick Pellegrini. Yeah, he is Tongan. Australian born though. But he does play for Tonga. And it looks like once again they are going to be opting for the corner. Jerry Hamish to do another interview with Brandon, hopefully. Says Blues, Nate. Now 2-2 in terms of that penalty count. Another chance for the rolling Moa's eye penalty again. Yeah, so far in this game, he's had 2 penalties against him and he's dropped the ball. So really not the greatest start to the match for that man. Lineouts 1, we've already seen 6 for the Hurricanes. 3 from Moana Pasifika, but 1 of which got them very close to scoring. Let's take again for Miracle Whailangi. Sanarivi hanging on to it at the back. As Iwaka Leawiri on this near side breaks away. And that ball's gone backwards. Picked up by Artie Savi, only 5 metres out from the try line now. Tamatine. On to the left, Tom Savage. Tamatine bosses up to Sanarivi. The rolling ball for Moana is very strong. Yeah, solid 4-pack. It helps them make some very nice meters. Pick and go. No advantage for offside. Turned onto his back. Wiggles around and does get the try. Hello all from Dunedin, says Jason. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. And that is another try now for Moana Pasifika. And that is going to be Samesi Tupo Teoloa. Does get it. And definitely not. Roygar made him look ordinary in the last test. His hype is mainly generated up north because of his average up there, says Thorfinn. And will we be in for the third upset? It could definitely be a possibility. Moana Pasifika. This one should be a relatively easy kick too. I just looked it up. Do you know who has the most tries in Super Rugby Pacific this season? Honestly, like, Moana Pasifika won't be a mile off because of how many points that they have scored. They've just conceded a lot throughout the season as well. So, honestly, probably not a bad... Or the Reds possibly would if they have played another game. The Chiefs have been pretty strong. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one to work out. I love a close game. It keeps it more interesting, says Matthew. And I, Hamish, my brother, good to hear all the way from Fiji. Says Nasoni. Well, welcome in, mate. Of course, massive win for the Fijian draw in their last contest up against the top of the table Chiefs. Certainly one that some were not anticipating. Now, Kieran Tamafalau goes across. Oh, Samisi has almost been hit in the face with that ball. I think he kind of controlled it first, slapped into the face, and then into the hands. Ball is there now, 30 minutes in. Back into the pocket is Pellegrini, who's 50-22, really did help start that move. Hello, Jason. Welcome in, buddy, from Dunedin. Says Nate there too. Low kick attempted from Harry Godfrey, picked up by William Harvilli. Oh, no, I mean player. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the team with the most tries. Most tries for a player. We've seen a few guys get a couple. Oh, that's a nice take from Kini Naholo. Offloads the ball up to Shields. And just to hang on to it. I think... Oh, banana kick. And finds a bit of space. Who would be the... I feel like it would be a forward. Unless maybe it's one of the outside backs. Possibly, but I don't think it would be a guy from the Blues. I don't think it would be a Canes player either. Not a Crusader, I wouldn't think. I'm just going through the teams in my head. For the Highlanders, we've seen a few tries scored for Caleb Tangi Tau. Is he relatively up there? No, in fact, he might have only scored 2 or 3. Now rolling maul here for the Hurricanes. Been quite a prominent part of both teams. Tazano has 5. Oh, Carlo Tazano. He's also just launched a YouTube channel. Fun fact, ladies and gentlemen. So if you love a bit of rugby YouTube, he does like match week vlogs, which I got recommended to me the other day out of the blue randomly. Now Iritare Inari going back across to the left-hand side. Good attack and run from Godfrey, who, even though he's one of the smallest players out there on the field, will run the ball like he's the biggest. 9 minutes remaining. Iritare Inari. Now Peter Lakai off to Brad Shields. Looks for the offload. Balin Sullivan. Iritare Inari again goes across to Ruben Love. Passes on the outside to Natu Nani Punivai, who has put it straight down. That's going to be Moana Pasifika's ball yet again. Sitting about 25 metres out from their own line. Langrini goes across to William Havili. Natu Nani Punivai Waiting for the bounce of the ball at the back. He is inside of the 22, so can kick this one into touch and does just that. Gets it out to about 40 metres from their line there. Like they're saying, Natunani Punevai, a little bit disappointed with the fact that he did drop that last possession, which then created a bit of a chance there for Moana Pasifika. Sarivi with the line out throw again. Going to be overthrown. Picked up well by Pellegrini though, hanging on to it by his fingertips. I don't know Moses Leo switch code, eh? He's training with the Melbourne Storm. See, I didn't realise he was at the Melbourne Storm. I knew that he was venturing outside of sevens. And honestly, like so many of those guys for New Zealand, the young wingers that do well, they disappear because they do end up going to either Super Rugby teams. Like, it's great to see Tangi Taufihi Whinia Nofo, although he's not playing in this contest, but also Caleb Tangi Tau. Did I say him? Yeah, and Leroy Carter, the other one I meant. What do you think about Kalen Ponga coming to Super Rugby rumour? Be interesting to see how he fits in. I mean, Joseph Suali'i, he's been going pretty well at the moment for the Waratahs. Got themselves a game up against the Western Force a little bit later on today. Very intriguing one. We got the membership for 43 months. This puts shame to most marriages these days. Yeah, there's not many marriages that last almost 4 years. And we are getting close to that. Of course, not our marriage, Seb, but our YouTube situation. But yeah, that's a very long time. 43 months. I still need to work out what that extra kind of emoji or badge could be. 33 minutes in, and yet again, another scrum. We've had a lot of those throughout this match, ladies and gents, so hopefully we won't get a huge amount more. And Hamish, good to hear from you again. How was your cricket game? I see that the Fiji and Roa beat the Chiefs. What do you think? It was a very entertaining second half, that's for sure. We did end up covering it on the channel for the second 40 minutes. We didn't get to start the game, though, which was slightly unfortunate. That is going to be another penalty, this time going the way of the Hurricanes. But cricket, you know, it went all right. I scored a few runs. I was not out. I took a catch and I got 2 wickets. But if you saw everything that happened in terms of the bowling, like I think I bowled 2 double bounces today. Been trying to do a little bit of a wrong-in. But just apparently set up the batsman for failure. I believe that is Sione Mafaleo, who has been penalised for this one. Honestly, it wasn't a bad push from Moana and easily could have actually gone their way for that penalty, but referee rules it otherwise. Here comes Isaiah Walker, Leo Wiri, more than likely the target for this line out. No, in fact, they go to Delaney. It's also extremely safe. Natunani Punevai. Low tack on him by Solomon Alaimalo. There is a Pellegrini on the Rome soccer team. Says Judah. And that's going to be stolen in the breakdown from Moana Pasifika. Nice stepping by Lalomelo. Lalomelo lures in 2. Gets the pass. Oh, he needed to pass that one. Although he's got back up to his feet, Kieran Tamafalau, but all he needed was that inside ball rather than shaping to kick. And it would have been a big one. Now, there's going to be a new advantage that is against Braden Yossi. And this is cynical. I think this is going to be a yellow card for Braden Yossi here. He will not be happy about it. The ref says you can go to the bin for 10 minutes. Do you got misses? Says Max. I do not got misses, no Max. But I'm sure you have. Been telling me all these hours you'll be working. They'll be hanging off you. Good morning, Hamish. There's Manny M. A long-lost family member says naught for Pellegrini. One's going to be kicked into touch, and they will once again look for that rolling maul here from Moana Pasifika. Just looking at the odds at the moment, they are sitting not too bad. Good morning. There's Manny Emma. Of course, we have still got 3 more live streams that we are covering today. Ladies and gents, so anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The first of which will be the URC contest between the Sharks and the Lions. No, I don't. Too expensive, says Max. Is Artie playing? He is, but he is playing, of course, for Moana Pasifika rather than the Canes side, like some people would still expect. Brad Shields bumps out of the challenge of Artie Savi. He's been forced almost back into the field of play. They have to be on the hindmost foot. Ball is there, says... Oh, okay, it was unplayable just out from the line, so it is going to become a 5-metre scrum for the Hurricanes. Just popping in, go the Canes, says Dawn of the Dead. I think the Sharks will bounce back today, says Quandilla. Yeah, that game last week was honestly so strange. You know, like, they just didn't play like anyone really expected them to. But in terms of the odds for that one, we'll have a quick look as well while we're at it. I did see that France are an underdog up against Ireland. And that game can really determine who wins the Six Nations. Right, the Sharks are favourites heading into that match. Of course, the one that I'm talking about is that matchup between the Sharks and the Lions. Lions $3.50 underdogs, but that's about what they were last week. So that's a bit of a surprise, to be honest, just because of how well they have been playing. Yossi misbehaving. He gets a 10-minute break before halftime, says Matthew. Yeah, he's just strategically saving himself a little bit more time. What was the card for? It was for the cynical slowing down of the ball in the breakdown. So got himself in a bit of trouble, but Peter Lakai now breaking off the back of the scrum. Pellegrini has to make another tackle. Savia was about to jump on that ball as it was loose, but the Canes have got it back. At least they did for a bit of time. Now Isaiah Walker Leowiri back into the pocket to Harry Godfrey. Kicks it into touch. I think going to be about 12 metres out from the line. And we've got to remember there is a man advantage. Brad Shields versus Artie Savia is a match up I never thought I would see. Says Vaughan. Yeah, now we get to see it. The two men, they seem to be on good talking terms before the match took place. They were both at the front of their lines for the tunnel and they were having a bit of a chat about something. But, yeah, I mean, it's certainly, like, in terms of Savia being with Moana Pasifika now, it's opened up the door for a few other head-to-heads, like him versus Peter Lakai, battle with the sevens in this match is absolutely awesome to see. I'd say Lakai, you know, without getting too overconfident, I'd say Lakai, maybe with just those running meters that he's made, gets that little bit of an advantage just for now. But that doesn't mean that Savia won't be able to take it back. Speaking of taking the ball back, James Lay keeping it on the side for Moana Pasifika. Now, Sione Mawheleo, tackled by Peter Lakai. Miracle Whailangi trying to drive through the tackle with Delaney, but it's ripped away by Siale Luakai. And now kicking it downfield. Not looking for touch, but instead just looking for a bit of territory. William Harvili is there ready for the ball. Tackled by Jacob Devery. Oh, people calling for the ball to be out, but I don't think it quite was. Off his feet, says Eritare Henry. He was furious about that one. And he's getting sick of getting hit in the knees. Tamatine, 1 minute remaining in this first half. Not many people would have predicted for Moana to be in the lead heading into halftime, but that is the reality that they may find themselves in. Solomon Aloimalo. Good low tackle made by Eritare Henry over the ball. Isaiah Walker Leowiri. He was extremely close to winning that turnover, but the referee once again does say no. Pellegrini, great step in. Miracle Whailangi, ball on the inside to Lalomilo. Now Tamatine passes across to Savia. Skip pass out wide, but not taking. Oh, how was it ended up in his hands? He did drop the ball there. Tupo Tailoa. But I think it's going to be a scrum. Hold on, almost half time. Yeah, this game is absolutely flown by at the moment. Yeah, big shot and somehow ends up in the hands of Taeloa. Now scrum feed again. This one will be the Hurricanes, who might just look to boot this ball into touch. Except the fact that they are inside of their 22, who's your NRL team. I mean, I am from New Zealand, so it should be the Warriors. The overseas side, it used to be, if I had to pick someone other than the Warriors, it was probably the Roosters, just because I quite like James Tedesco. But I honestly don't know who I'd go for now. Yeah, I just saying, Braden Yossi. Sin bin for another 4.5 minutes. Oh. Okay, possession currently 58% in favour of the Hurricanes. Territory 62%, yet they are currently down by the 2 points. Both sides have scored the same amount of tries. It's just one of the kicks was missed. Moana Pasifika famous first ever win in Super Rugby Pacific against the Hurricanes, and will they get the win tonight? Says Levi. Could be a possibility. I mean, this round, more than anything, has shown us how strong underdog sides can be. The Brumbies and the Fijian draw both getting themselves wins. Ball's gone in. And the Hurricanes, they will... Oh! Little sneaky run there. Now goes into touch for Harry Godfrey. He thought about going for the short side and just sprinting, as Moana Pasifika thought they were just going to put that ball into touch. At halftime in this contest now, 14 points to 12. Moana Pasifika in the lead. Sup, Levi? Says George Murphy. Yeah, entertaining first half. Back and forth. Hurricanes having some decent moments earlier on, but then just as this half progressed, Moana Pasifika starting to get a bit more of their rhythm. We have got there, welcome in Farnhouse. Please hit the like, subscribe to the Kiwi Lads. Says Blues Nate. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back for 3 more games today. Going to get to see the URC contest between the Sharks and the Lions, a rematch of last week in which the score was extremely one-sided, with the Sharks being defeated 38 points to 14. Then after that, we're going to be covering Ireland versus France. At the moment, the Six Nations will be on the line. It's going to be a very important one. And just looking at the way that the table sits, if I can find it, there it is. Ireland sit on 14 points. So if France were to win this contest and stop Ireland from getting the bonus point, in fact, even if Ireland got the bonus point and France were able to win it, more than likely both sides will be sitting on 15 heading into the final round, where France have a much tougher game. England, they will be playing Italy. They'll be looking for the 5 points. We could see 3 teams on 15 points for the Six Nations heading into the final round, which honestly is the best case scenario. But the more likely scenario would be, of course, that Ireland can get themselves the big win. But we're going to be covering that game. And then straight after that, we've got Scotland versus Wales, which will be another one to keep an eye on. Scotland sitting on 6 points. Can make a little bit of a late dash if they get themselves 2 wins in a row at the end of this competition. Although one of their games, of course, is going to be up against the French. But, yeah, big games all over the place happening in the near future. We are going to be covering a lot of them. Super Rugby next weekend as well. We should mention we are going to be covering, I believe, at least 4 games, if not 5, of Super Rugby next weekend. First game that we will be covering will be on Friday night between the Hurricanes and the Highlanders. That game taking place in Dunedin. Brumbies versus Fijian draw. 2 sides that got themselves the upset wins this round will then face each other in the next. Crusaders versus Force. Chiefs versus Blues. And Reds versus Waratahs. The good old-fashioned New South Wales versus Queensland rivalry starts 9:35 on the 15th. Why don't Moana take this 3 stupid man? Banked the points, had chance to be a 17-12. They keep for the line and turnover, probably get blasted by 32nd half. That will teach him, says Bill. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because the first time that they did it, they scored a try, so they managed to get 7 from it. But, you know, it's very easy after it to say, oh, well, they should have taken the 3. But I think they felt confident enough that their rolling maul could get the job done. Plus, they were facing up against 1 less man out there on the field for the Hurricanes. So I can slightly understand it. And at the same time, like maybe they've looked at this Hurricane size record and the fact that they do score quite a few points. And they thought that maybe it wouldn't quite be enough to get those 3s. The Highlanders will beat the flying F out of the Hurricanes next Friday night. When you're Crusaders of the last 5 years, you can do what you want, says Bill. Not when you're average Moana, says Bill. Yeah, although the perfect game to base, taking 3s off is honestly that opener between the Hurricanes and the Crusaders. They took quite a few 3 attempts and it seemed like it was going to be enough. And then the Crusaders came back and scored those tries. But yeah, I think that they'll be happy enough 14-12, but 17-12 would have been a nice little extra touch. I think they just wanted to stay down that end of the field and try and avoid having a counter-attack. Say, if Hamish, I say it off the streams, I got to take your 3s in any rugby, says Bill. Although, looking at the last round of Super Rugby here, like 3-pointers, of course, a few of the games have been separated by that close, but a lot of the games less than 7. I mean, that Hurricanes Blues game, the 4 points. Hurricanes were criticised in that game actually for taking a few easier opportunities at the posts. And that is why the Blues actually walked away with a bonus point win rather than just the win, because they did manage to get 3 or more tries than their opposition. Yeah, Reds versus... I hope that the game later on, Force versus Waratahs, is as close as that Reds Force game. Just because the Australian sides are being extremely competitive with each other. It wasn't too long ago the Brumbies played the draw. So here's Max, that is true. And the Brumbies were able to get themselves the win in Fiji. Their first ever visit there. What's the last game today? It's going to be Western Force versus the Waratahs. Waratahs at home. But then there is also another game taking place tomorrow at 3:35 p.m. in the afternoon. And that is the Crusaders versus Reds match. So a Sunday afternoon fixture for that one. Especially 22 out in front, says Bill. And we have got then Bra prepared to proof point, says North. Second half, not a mile away. We will quickly get the benches. There we go. This is the way that the benches sit for this contest. Sam Molly there at number 16, Abraham Polly, and Chris Apua as the number 18. Samuel Slade, Tawalangi, Halo, Garden Bishop, and Offa there as the number 23 in terms of the Hurricanes. A new name in that 16 jersey. It's going to be Soshin, I believe it is. Xavier Numia and Basilio Tosi there as the number 18. Hugo Plummer and Duplessis Karefi. And then Cam Roygaard, Riley Hohepa, and also Rover there too. So, plenty of talent for both of these sides. A great chance. Well, we will go like this, and we will go like that as well. Are you covering Crusaders Reds tomorrow? We are planning on doing so. I should be awake, I would say. Like, we're going to be doing that Six Nations game taking place, finishing at 7:45. So I'd say what I'll end up doing is more than likely the way that so I'll probably end up sleeping at about 8:30, waking up at maybe around 2:33, so getting a quick little 6-hour sleep in there, and then doing the commentary. Worst comes to worst, because we're probably doing all-nighter the night after, between the England and Italy game as well as the New Zealand final up against India, so I'll probably try and sleep a little bit in the afternoon as well. And that should do the job, I would say. So from here, we've only got another 5 live streams. How much do these players get paid? 500k. It wouldn't be that high. Certain players are probably relatively up there, but for a majority of these guys, I couldn't tell you the exact numbers, but I'd say it's probably, if you're a solid enough player, you're probably getting around that 100, maybe, somewhere. And we have got the morning/evening Hamish. Says Kernovik, and I think the score will be 30 points to 22 in favour of Moana. Says Kristen. And Sunday treat, says Bill. Yeah, this game already has had plenty of action for just the 40 minutes. I feel like that running rugby tomorrow for Crusaders versus Reds will have the same. In fact, while we are at it, we might as well check the Christchurch weather for tomorrow. It's going to be the afternoon game. Saturday doesn't look too good, but Sunday midday, mostly sunny, so it should be a pretty good day for a game of rugby. Little bit of wind, 13 kilometres or 16 kilometres, so not a massive amount, just enough to move the ball slightly. Right, they're just talking about whether or not Moana Pasifika can get their first win of the season. It's a possibility. Like I said, the underdogs have really been enjoying success. At the moment, Moana Pasifika are still an underdog, $2.90 they are currently sitting at. I think the score will be 30 points to 22, 40 points to 24. It's Bill's prediction for the Hurricanes, who scored the tries for Moana, bro. So we did see one try from Miracle Whaialangi, and then also Samisi Tupo Taaloa was the other try scorer. So good day in the loose forwards for Moana Pasifika so far. Evening, Hamish, mate, from Brisbane. Got through the cyclone okay, sad for the people of the Gold Coast. How are you, mate, says James. Doing pretty well overall, James. Hopefully you've been keeping safe over the last few days. Yeah, heaps of rugby taking place throughout the weekend. So I'm sure we'll see you popping in and out throughout the next few games. URC Six Nations, the two that we are covering later on tonight. And we have got there, who do you think will win the Super Rugby Pacific title this year? Honestly, I think that there's like 3 or 4 teams that have a really good chance of being able to win. But, like, it's going to come down to those playoff games, isn't it? And I think that that's going to be the big factor, is whether or not the teams can get, for one, a home final or a home semi. Thanks, bro. Savia playing. He is indeed. He's actually, believe it or not, he's the only loose forward for them that hasn't been able to score. So something that you're not used to seeing is Artie Savia without a try to his name. But yeah, the lone guy who hasn't quite crossed the line as of yet. We have got there looking forward to hate watching the Ireland-France match. Why are you going to hate it? It will be a good game, I hope. You know? And it could honestly, like, the thing is, it could go either way. And that's the good thing about it. The fact that both of those sides have a chance to win. And I also said about how, in terms of, for the competitiveness of the Six Nations, it would actually be, once again, just for the competitiveness side of things, it would be great to see France win, so that 3 sides are on roughly 15 heading into the last match, which would be, you know, it would be pretty awesome to see 3 teams all still with a chance of winning it, rather than just a one-horse race. If Ireland win up against the French, they've won the Six Nations easy and nothing can change. So, you know, I'd like to see maybe the upset, even though, of course, some people would rather just see it secured. But for the sake of competitiveness, it would be quite cool to have the last round. Even if Ireland then went on to beat Italy by 50, at least it's gone to that final moment. What do you think about the Highlanders winning the title? They've started off all right. I feel like they're certainly going to be a top 8 side this year, which is, I'm sure, great to see for Highlanders supporters. Reds 13 plus tomorrow, says Max. And evening, Hamish brother, says Booty V. Welcome in, mate. Go France, says Matthew. And France, says Nort. And I was like, let's go Moana, says Kristen. In there as well. On finals experience, I go for the Crusaders or the Brumbies this year, says Ronnie. Probably a decent shout. But, like, yeah, it's going to be very tricky to know, because certain sides, you know, like the perfect example last year is probably actually the team that's playing in this match, the Hurricanes. Qualified at the top of the bunch, but lost their semi-final, which then meant that it was Blues versus Chiefs. But you can be sitting top of the bunch, but if you lose games, and it's those important ones, those are the ones that really hurt you. Now, of course, this year we don't have quarterfinals, but yeah, we will soon see. As top 6 this year in Super Rugby, exactly right. Top 6, so 2 sides go through on the technicality, and then the semi-finals playoff type situation of 3 to 6 happens, and then they face teams afterwards. But second half of this contest, very close to taking place here at North Harbour Stadium. You see there the Moana Pasifika bench just warming up with their line out. 2 tries for the Hurricanes, Braden Yossi and Ruben Love. 2 men who were able to score it. For Moana Pasifika, we have seen 2 tries in the loose forward trio, Whailangi, as well as Tupo Taialoa. Right, Clark Laidlaw has said, we need to defend better. Probably a fair statement. They have found themselves trapped inside of their 22 at times. 87 tackles made by Moana Pasifika compared to the 56 of the Hurricanes, so that will start to weigh on them. Hurricanes have made 551 metres compared to Moana's 281, and 3 line breaks apiece, just to keep it nice and close. I watched the draw highlights. Man, it was raining cats and dogs out there. It was, but then the sun came out right at the end of the game, which was a little bit of a surprise. Islanders are giving off vibes of 2015. You'd think maybe making the playoffs will be an exceptional result for this season. Do you have a friend named Jackson? I do not know. Do you? Maybe. And man, Brad and Whailangi already made more points than the 4 guys I picked in the last game together. Does Isaiah Walker-Leoweri's production justify how many bad penalties he concedes? Honestly, for me anyway, I would say at the moment no. Just because, I mean, for this game, Savi is off and Tawalangi is on, ladies and gentlemen. Early, maybe injury for Savia. So that will mean that he is no longer out on the park. Just waiting to hear if there's any sort of update about that. Kiwi lad, who will win between France and Ireland? It's going to be a 50-50 kind of game. And like, for the sake of the Six Nations, for France to win it means that last round means something. Do you have a friend named George? I do have a friend named George, just not Jackson. We have me and Levi both said that it was top 6 this year in Super Rugby, says Kristen. That is true. Literally everyone had umbrellas, says Vaughan. I think the Moana don't have the experience yet. The Kiwi teams always step up at another level when it comes to the final, says Ronnie. Now Pellegrini kicking off this one. Going towards the left. Balin Sullivan goes off to Peter Lakai. I did notice in one tackle at the end of the first half, hit his head on the ground pretty hard. Says Freshman. So you think it might be HIA related? Or Savia. Still 3 minutes remaining of the yellow card of Braden Yossi. We have got there, who do you think will win against Moana and the Canes? Honestly, like, this game, like, Hurricanes should win, right? In terms of odds and in terms of everything. But, like, Moana Pasifika, if we've learned anything about this round, it's that underdogs can win contests. And already we're seeing 2 underdogs win. Beautiful chip and behind from Jonathan Tamatine. Cleaned up by Lalo Milo. Now Tamatine again goes off to the side. Pellegrini popping it in behind. Kieran Tumapalau scores the try, and Moana Pasifika get the try within a minute of the second half getting underway. Lucky was almost going to give those 2 for Artie, but I had to get rid of Jordan. Didn't want to make that mistake again, says Mr. All-In. And Kieran Tumapalau, I'm sure he earned a few fantasy points for that try. Now 5 throughout the season. Pellegrini waiting it perfectly to Lalo Milo. Excellent try, says Freshman. And yeah, just pace him behind. Momentum going forward. Kieran Tumapalau, he wasn't in front for a majority of the foot race, but he had a lot more ground to make up, and he still managed to do it. Okay, they've just said that Artie Savia's hamstrings were the issue, by the sounds of that. It's almost like last week's URC match between the Bulls and the Stormers. Whereas storming at Loftus. Hopefully that does not happen again for this Lions versus Sharks game. I remember we had to stall for about an hour and a half. Oh, Pellegrini, that one's come round and over. That looked like it was not close for about the first maybe second or so of the kick, and then it just had a tail that brought it round 21 points to 12. It's a great start to the half here, and they managed to score before they get back to 15, the Canes. Kicked off along, Kieran Tumapalau. Going across now into the middle to Samisi Tupo Ta'aloa. Go Moana, says the beta of everything. Now back into the pocket, Pellegrini. Doesn't manage to find touch with it. Ruben Love. Goes to Harry Godfrey. Now Eritara Inari. Brad Shields. That's going to be knocked on in the tackle. Ruben Love kicks this one high up again. Advantage is now over. Nicely taken by Pellegrini. Tamatine. Back across to the left-hand side. Naria Famai. In fact, no, sorry, Danny Tuwala this time. Kicks it downfield. Cleaned up by Pitu Manga-Jensen. Almost got that tackle, Messi Tupo Taloa. And for the Canes here, they just have to make sure they don't concede again before getting back to 15. Tie from Harry Godfrey as I walk Leowiri chasing after it. Leaves a massive gap by charging in. Pass on the inside to Kieran Tumapalau. Hurdles over one, steps round 2, still running, finds the pass, and they will be dragged down 10 metres out from the try line. Now Alan Craig goes across, big shot. Tamatine though Looping around on the outside. Finish in a half from Miracle, Whaialangi, and Moana now lead 26 points to 12. Very costly yellow. That looks bad for Moana, losing their inspirational captain. Are you sure? 4 minutes, they've scored 2 tries without Savia on the field. Maybe his injury is the motivation that they needed. Pellegrini goes through. Isaiah Walker-Leawiri initially chasing after that kick, then decided to wait until Pellegrini had it to charge at him, missed the tackle completely and left a gap that was absolutely massive. And is this going to be another upset? It's kind of looking like it. Like, they've got a very good lead here for Moana Pasifika. Savia is celebrating on the sidelines. Don't do it too hard, Artie, or you'll blow the hammy completely. But now, 45 minutes gone. Isaiah Walker-Leawiri is so bad, says freshman. And Pellegrini, the crowd like it, and it is over again. 28 points to 12. What are the odds now? It's suspended. They've said, hang on, this isn't supposed to be happening. Another upset, says Ronnie. And we have got the New Zealand Rugby looking like garbage today, says Choke the Woke. What's your schedule for the weekend? So at 12:50 a.m. we're going to be getting up. So that is in around 4.5 hours. And that will be for the matchup between the Sharks and the Lions for the URC. Then from there, I'm going to be doing the game between France and Ireland. And then after that, Scotland versus Wales. Then Sunday afternoon, we've got Crusaders versus Reds, followed by England versus Italy at 4 a.m. Monday morning. Now, it's going to be the penalty going the way of Moana Pasifika, who are now up against 15 men yet again. Come on, Moana, says Lai. And also, hi, I'm watching the game on Stan Sports, says Shane. Another upset. But yeah, it could be 3 upsets from 3. And Moana Pasifika heading into this game, like the fact that they were up by 2 points and they were $2.90 underdogs, that tells you, no, they would have been massive underdogs at the start of this contest. What you pick, Ireland or France? One of the two, I believe, will win. But I'm not sure who. And it could honestly be a draw, just to make my little statement there completely wrong. Jacob Devery now ready to throw this ball in. Devery gets it straight to Delaney. And you need to back your snacks for the rest of the weekend, Hamish, says Matthew. Now looking for the rolling ball. My final score prediction is now wrong because I predicted it was going to be 30 points to 22 to Moana, says Kristen Rush. Now popped out the side. Roygard. He's already made his way onto the field, so the Hurricanes trying to make those early changes. Xavier Numia also makes his way on, but goes back to what I mentioned at the start. Maybe the Hurricanes going a little bit light in their starting lineup, underestimating this Moana Pasifika side. Pellegrini gets the kick into touch. Kanina Holo hardly has touched the ball. Decides to take it quickly. Come on, Moana, you got this, says SS2. My final score prediction is now wrong because I predicted it was going to be 30-22 to Moana, says Kristen Rush. Now Balin Sullivan. Roygard goes off to Godfrey. Xavier Numia. Have you heard of Vitbox shows live sport? I have. It's also very good for getting viruses from the sounds of it. Now Roygard goes back across to Peter Umanga Jensen. Lalomelo trying to strip him. Doesn't get it. Roygard back across to Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. Miscommunication from the Hurricanes forward, Xavier Numia. The man who drops it. 32 minutes remaining now. Ruben Love just trying to calm down this forward back. That's the only way I watch rugby. Says Nort. Surely they aren't taking Peter Larkai off, are they? 3 and 6 gold. So that'll be Brad Shields and also Tavira Mafaleo. So he will be off. And that's going to bring on Basilio Tossi and Duplessis Karifi. So 2 great changes. Keeping them paid $50 a month just for Sky Sport. Says Shane. And keep it there, you the man, says Lai. I do appreciate you being here, mate. Of course, we are going to be here next week as well. I think that injury from Artie just fueled them up and gave them all the motivation they need. It's almost like me when I took on the role of team manager and I was still out with my injury. Says Vaughan. And Moana needs to keep scoring, and they don't need to worry about who's on the bench for the Hurricanes. Yeah. And the Hurricanes, the fact that they're making these changes so early, though, tell you that they're under pressure. And they feel like maybe they've let this game slip a little bit. It doesn't mean that they can't get back into the contest, but they do still need something. Quick fire try. Even just a penalty maybe, but like it won't get them completely back in. Super Rugby was way better with South African teams in with us. Sears choked the woke. Although viewership-wise, I think last year they mentioned how in terms of Sky numbers or competition views, they were at an all-time high. So doing well at the moment for Super Rugby in terms of the numbers that they're bringing in. I got tired of having to keep refreshing using streams. I got Sky Sport for 12 months, $365. Says non-mum. And now we need the Reds to beat the Crusaders, says Shane. And then also that would involve the Force beating the Tars, as they are the other underdog of the weekend. Yeah, if you're just talking New Zealand sides, of course, you only need one more Reds. Will any Kiwi team win this round? It's a great question. As Cam on the bench for the Hurricanes says, Matthew, he's already on the field, but yes, he was off the bench. They decided to make that change relatively early. That was an upright tackle from Tom Savage, and he's cut himself open by the looks of it, hitting into the head of Xavier Numia. Now, Pellegrini, in downfield yet again. Harry Godfrey goes across there to Cam Roigard. Now wide cut-out pass, Balin Sullivan trying to step his way around, and he's going to be driven into touch. It's good defence from Moana Pasifika. Islanders versus Hurricanes will be a good game in Dunedin next Friday night. Here's Shane Hayes. It's going to be a good one. Hopefully it is relatively close. Yeah, Balin Sullivan just running out of space. Lalo Milo and Tuala. Move getting rid of him. Right, Tom Savage will be going off now due to that cut that I mentioned just before. That was from a head-on-head up against Xavier Numia. I'm a little bit surprised that they haven't checked that one. One man doesn't make a team, but a great leader unites one into a force. To be reckoned with, so Adi Savia is a force of nature. Says Kerno Vic, and the Hurricanes don't have anyone that can consistently get over the advantage line, says Freshman. Oh, here we go. They're going to check the head contact. Like I said, if he's got a cut from a headbutt, surely there's something in there. The streams I watch run great. Hardly ever lag or freeze, says Choke the Woke. Right. Tom Savage. They're going to be checking this one. Head on head. Yes. There was another man making a tackle, but I believe this will be a yellow card for Tom Savage. What's up with the Champions Blues this year? They've had a slow start. They've taken on some very tough sides, though, at the start of the competition. Right, so 4's gone off for the HIA, but I believe he's going to get a yellow card now. I think they're just trying to work out who's the skipper. Adi Savi has gone off. James Lay is normally the assistant, so Jonathan Tamatine has been nominated. Yellow says Stephen. It's going to be a yellow card for Tom Savage, who has gone off for the HIA, so he will be off for 10 minutes before he's able to make his way back out there. Right, Samuel Slade is hoping to just sneak around on the field and stay out there. But yeah, now he has to make his way off. Hopefully Roigard doesn't have the same bad luck he had last year at Forsyth Bar Stadium and needs to remind the ref not to get in his way again, says Jason. And we have got accidentally, says Ronnie. Should have won against the Highlanders and the Brumbies, says Shane. Now 30 minutes left, and Moana Pasifika now the team with a slight man disadvantage. I have the bet, £40 double over 65 this match and over 50 Waratahs match. What do you think? Says Stephen, I think you'll either win or lose. Good morning, evening, mate, says Fleshin, and Waratahs versus Western Force prediction. It's going to be an intriguing game. I do think it will be split by not many points, just because both of those sides seem to have a tendency of when they play each other, they keep it close. Now it's going to be thrown in. Now rolling forward. And this is a train at the moment. About 5 or 6 players in a row, and that's going to be dragged down. Penalty advantage going the way of the Canes here. Maybe they're forced to win that game, says Shane. And what about over 60 here? It could happen. But then at the same time, it just depends on what happens throughout this 10-minute period where Moana are down a man. The Hurricanes can score 2 or 3 times. You should be safe, but if they don't, it might end up missing. Yeah, just showing once again that rolling maul that just turned into pretty much a player after a player after a player. All in a line. We have got there Mitenda. Do you think the 20-minute red card should have its own colour? I would like a purple card for 20 minutes. Or sometimes I think hockey have an orange card. So perhaps if they're doing the 20-minute red, maybe that is something they could look at, a 20-minute orange. Now going to the short side and running out of space. Miscommunication there for the Hurricanes. Just not really having a tactic in mind, but instead just trying to make those meters. How frustrated again. I think Walker Leowiri still gets picked because he's a pretty good line-out operator. This week he was out. The Hurricanes line-out was horrific. Or the week he was out, the Hurricanes line-out was horrific. Do you think many conversions or many conversations next match? I assume that's conversions. You're talking like 2-pointers or 3-pointers? Are you going to watch the India versus New Zealand final tomorrow night? I'm going to be watching some of it. Of course, during that game, we are also going to be covering England versus Italy. So, yeah, we'll probably end up getting some spoilers along the way for that one. Basilio Tossi, sitting at the moment, 30 matches, 3 tries, one of which came in golden point. India have already scammed the pitch, says Ronnie. A penalty kick, says Stephen. It could be. But also at the same time, like both sides, it depends on the game's setup, doesn't it? Because, once again, if it's a close game, both sides are willing to just try and hunker down and look for points at any stage. You could see 5, but both sides are looking to play that free-flowing rugby. You could see 0 attempted throughout the whole match. Seen 601 metres made by the Hurricanes so far throughout this matchup. We have the Sharks versus Lions. Will that be worth watching? I am going to be watching it and commentating it. The way that the Sharks played last week, possibly some would say no. But hopefully they bounce back. They've put a few more Springboks in their starting lineup, so that should help them in the right direction. Denny Tawala tackled around the halfway line. Tamatine going off to the right-hand side to Chris Apua, who is also made his way on, the replacement tight head. Have you heard about the MLR changing a couple of the rules to not have too many scrums? I did not know, to be honest. Now, Tamatine, a lot of pressure on him by Xavier Numier. See that he's coming through the side, though, so that will be another penalty going the way of Moana Pasifika. 20 should be blue, says Sven. So why blue? Out of curiosity, what about the 20 minutes do you think represents that blue side of things? Now, gonna be kicking this ball into touch. Or Pellegrini, they'll be about 25 metres out from the line, and now the chance of going for Moana's rolling maul. Doesn't matter if Isaiah's good at lineouts, but he cost the Hurricanes 2 tries so far, and his discipline is probably the worst in Super Rugby. Says Daryl. NRL should be playing in Australia at the moment, or shouldn't be playing in Australia at the moment, says Shane Hayes. Right, they've just said there that the yellow card will stay as a yellow card. So that is good news for the for Moana Pasifika. Still another 5 minutes remaining of that yellow card, though. Jonathan Tamatine going across to Solomon Alaimalo. He has had hardly any carries throughout this whole match. Now Tamatine going across again to Sanarevi. Making some good meters. Apparently turnovers, you get a short arm penalty and not a scrum, says Naughty. It'll be interesting to see how it works and whether or not it does help speed up the game. You see Karifi getting pushed out of that breakdown. He was told to get out of it. He said, I am out of it. The Lions and Sharks match is another match. It is crucial because the South African shield is on the line. See, here's Vaughan. Now back across to the right, Tamatine. A run from Sanarivi. It seems to be the same three guys at the moment. Yellow stays yellow, be kind. Funny, this game is a blowout. So here's Novmum. And that's going to be a penalty. That looked like a bit of a cheap shot there on William Havili, who looks like he's got a sore ankle. Right, Moana Pasifika, they have a chance to take 3 points here. Right, second penalty that Five's given away. If we're actually being technical, that's more than 2 that he's given away. I believe that's his 3rd now. And Waka Leowiti again, yeah, he's giving away penalties for fun at the moment. No arm wrap there, just a silly one to give away. I wish if they dropped any updates for Rugby 25, how's the game's looking nowadays? They're trying to fix it. Like, the passing's a lot better than it was a few weeks ago. They still don't pass more than once, though. Right, TMO's checking this one. Right. They're checking this one from Isaiah Walker Leowiti to see whether he's wrapped his arms, and the answer to that is no. So Danny Tawala stayed down with a knee injury here, and it's going to be a yellow card to Isaiah Walker Leowiti. How's Isaiah still on the field? Well, fun fact, now he's not going to be because he's gotten a yellow card. So he will have to spend the next 10 minutes off it. But this has been an absolutely awful game for him. That was not even the penalty that he got penalised for initially. So it's like 4 infringements against him. And also a drop ball. He's going to be off the field for the next 10 minutes. He's not happy about it, but at the end of the day, it's your 4th penalty against you anyway, so surely eventually the ref's going to reach for the pocket. He's got a big smile on his face, doesn't agree with it. That will mean that they're back down to 14 now for the Hurricanes. And Danny Tawala sadly will be limping off the field. He got chop blocked on his injured knee already. So, yes, Isaiah Walker Leowiti might think it's funny, but Danny Tawala, hopefully he's not going to be out for a long time from that knee injury, but he is very slow making his way off the field. Another upset on the board. Says Selenata. Looking likely. Could be 3 from 3 this stage of the competition. Right, Tavita Offa will make his way onto the field. That is for the Danny Tawala injury. Yeah, he does not look good at the moment, unfortunately. Danny Tawala. Hopefully you're going to be all right. Another upset. And Orange says Nort. He's not putting a huge amount of weight on that knee. Danny Tawala, did anyone put money on this game plus other games? Says Shane. But now they've decided to kick for the corner. They have decided against the 3 points that if they can get the full 7, will be possibly a match winner. Only 28 points to 14. Oh, sorry, to 12. Are any New Zealand teams going to win this week? It's not looking too likely at the moment, with the exception of maybe the Crusaders. Right, we see Rover on. That is for Balin Sullivan. Now, Sushon has also made his way on. Will Matt Henry be available? Yeah, he's a bit of an interesting one, isn't he? I'm not actually too sure whether he will be there for the Black Cats. I think he will be. Crusaders will win, says Matthew. Another try, game over, says Shane. Now rolling ball here for Moana Pasifika. Sanarivi breaks away and scores it. And now Moana Pasifika sit in a bonus point position up against the Hurricanes. So they are leading by 21. And they have got 5 tries to the 2 of the Hurricanes. Moana versus the Bananas right now, says he says 2. And New Zealand teams have gone to sleep in this round. I just think that the Hurricanes aren't as good now compared to last season. Says Enzi right. Well, what a game. Says Novmum. Try time, says Shane. And there as well. Yeah, now for the Hurricanes to win, I assume that they would have to be Tell you what, that is an impressive money line, ladies and gents. It is minus 19.5, which means that they aren't even sure if the Hurricanes will be within 20. Where is the next rugby union stream computer? There's Stephen. And that one has gone over. Making the score now 33 points to 1. This has to be the game of the round so far. Says Novmum. An unbelievable result. Says Shane Hayes. And also 80 says Ronnie there. And Geordie might want to stay in Ireland. What happened to the new Canes? I thought they were supposed to be good. An incredible performance from Moana here. Still the best logo in the competition. Says Sebastian. Going to be kicked off long, though. Only a quarter of this match to go, and the score 35 points, in fact. To the 12, Pellegrini sells 2 men the wrong way and kicks it downfield. Are you going to be happy? Go out with George if the Black Cats win the World Cup. George won't even watch that game and probably won't even know that it's happened if they did win. The Owl sits up for Natonani Punivai. Now almost a chance to steal that ball, and the penalty does go the way of the Hurricanes. Number 5 for the Canes ain't rugby material. Hope he gets cut in 2026. We need someone else. Doesn't give away lots and lots of penalties. Because who did they have last year? Dominic Bird, wasn't it? He went all right in that locking joy. That's a great kick from the Hurricanes. They will put themselves right on the 5-metre line. How many minutes more? Still another 20 minutes remaining in this contest. The Hurricanes career mode you have going on. When is the next match? Says Stephen. Probably Monday or Tuesday, I would say, is when the next one's going to be going up. We've also got a Crusaders career mode me and George have filmed, which has both of us and a whole heap of swearing, so it's taken a bit longer to edit because I have to censor everything. This ain't a good wink for New Zealand franchise. It says staying massive rolling maul defence from Moana Pasifika, well handled from Rover. 10 metres out from the line. On off to the left-hand side. Xavier Numier, tackled by Chris Apua. And that yellow card to Yossi was ridiculous, says Tane. And after this, Black Caps have a series in New Zealand, says Shane Hayes. Now passing it back across all. That's going to be an accidental deliberate knockdown, I think, for Lalo Milo, but it's going to be cleaned up now by the Hurricanes. Ruben Love trying to go through. Pellegrini tackles him high. So they've got another advantage. Roygaard passes as he's being tackled to Umanga Jensen. Over 60 is looking tough here. Not necessarily, because, you've currently got 47. So you need 2 tries pretty much converted. And the Hurricanes are going to be trying to score at least twice more before the end of this game. Christchurch Stadium is looking good, says Shane. At least the Highlanders will get confidence after the Hurricanes are not even showing enough puff to blow out a candle tonight. Hopefully another vocal crowd like we had versus the Blues, says Jason. Now pick and go from the Canes. 10 metres out, probably 2 metres out, and Peter Lakai scores the try now for the Hurricanes. Had a good day in that loose forward trio for both sides. In fact, we've seen Lakai and Yossi both score for the Canes in this game. Also, Miracle Whailangi, he's had 2, I think, for the Moana Pasifika side. And then also Samisi Tupo Taialoa managed to score the other alongside Kieran Tumafalau. That one's gone over now from Harry Godfrey. Bring them back into the game a little bit. Why does Roygaard have the clean rucks by himself? This team is so lazy, says Freshman. If Black Caps could upset India as going to the Highlanders versus Hurricanes game party in the zoo, says Shane. Thanks for your commentary, even though I have the game on TV. Has anyone told you that you could be a good rapper? No. I've been told that I talk fast, but I don't think I'd be very good at rapping. Just because I think I talk sometimes quicker than my brain can actually work out words to say. Whereas rapping, you also got to try and say things quick, but also rhyme them. And it's very hard to do. Tom Savage, he's back out on the field, so he passed his HIA. I think more so he went off for the blood bin rather than the HIA, I'd say. That's going to be a drop off the kickoff from Peter Umanga Jensen. As your cricket going, the end of the season. We did not make the top 4, so we don't play next week or the weekend after. So we got a little bit of time off. Although I might end up playing a game for another team 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure the Hurricanes have the depth at lock to drop Walker Leawiri, says Freshman. Have they got Will Tucker at the moment? Is he in the picture or is he currently injured? I know he's one that we've been using on my career mode for the Canes. We've been doing on Rugby 25. Anyone who, of course, wants to check that out, be sure to do so. The series is up on the channel. We're up to about episode 7 at the moment. I'm not sure the Hurricanes have the depth. Oh, no, I read that one. Pakistani crowds back in Black Cats for India home game versus New Zealand. Says Blues Nate. I think I need a converted try now, correct? You are correct, yes. You've got 17 minutes, so plenty of time. And Moana Pasifika are once again going to be on attack, I should say. And we're going to have another scrum reset. Nice shame, me and my daughter will be on the 22-metre line, front row, with flags waving, says Jason. What big cricket tournament is on now? So it is the Champions Trophy. So pretty much it's, I think it was the top 8 sides or so, and they just all pretty much play each other. What does the table look like now? Not sure, if I'm honest, but we are going to have the updated table for the Crusaders versus Reds game. I have a feeling New Zealand will win tomorrow, says Stephen. Since the Super Rugby Pacific season started, I was waiting for Moana Pasifika to get a W because I actually predicted that Moana would make the top 6 because they were looking great before this. Says Vaughan, and enjoying your live commentary in my home in Fiji. Having a few beers, go Moana GG. Says Lie. And like we've mentioned, there have been so many upsets already in this round. 2 in a row. And Moana Pasifika make it 3. They're in the box seat and they've got themselves the penalty advantage here again. Jonathan Tamatine goes across to Lalo Milo. Now Tamatine popping the ball up into the hands of the big man Samesi, Tupo, Tailoa. We have got there from Will, just paying my Kiwi Lad subscription. Thank you very much, Will. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. Jonathan Tamatine pops it up to Samuel Slade, who recently made his way onto the field for Alan Craig. Now, Chris Apua, 7 metres out from the line. Jonathan Tamatine. And let's go Moana Pasifika, only the beginning. Says Katurv. Hopefully I've said that correctly. I love watching your Rugby 25 games. Can't wait for your career match. Says Matthew. Now, Tamatine again will go off to the left-hand side before this competition started. My friends thought I was crazy because I believed they could make it. Dude, I went to mess to get dinner. Got back and it's 35. Yes, boys. Says Nort. And yeah, they're not too far off being able to score again here. They're only 5 metres out from the line with another penalty advantage. 11 phases in. Now Pellegrini. Nice step from him, but he's tackled low by Peter Larkai. Now, Tamatine pops it up. The advantage is now over. Oh, no, new advantage has just come into. Is Cam Roygar playing? He certainly is. Came off the bench. It's another try. I think that's Miracle Whailangi for a 3rd time has crossed the try line. In there, Whailangi, says Mr. All-In. He's probably a guy that hardly anyone had in their Super Rugby fantasy. And to be fair, like he has stepped up big time. 3 tries this season, all from this match. Like they've said, he's been an absolute tank just short of the line. 5 metres go, boys, and they get another. Moana Pasifika have put 40 points on the board up against the Canes. And he says SS2 and tries to Shane Hayes. They are fired up beyond belief. Savian knows how important that one was. They're up by 21 with a kick to come. If this kick goes over, this match might be 2. Is this the second time they have beat the Hurricanes? Says Shane. I think they got close last year. Did they win last year? They're going to hit 50. Pellegrini does not get it to come around enough, so the score will remain at 40 points to 19. That's 59 points. Surely something happens in the next 13 minutes, says Stephen. And they're going to hit the 50, says Nort. And, oh my God, let's go Moana, says Blues Nate. Yeah, it's a day for upsets, and obviously this is going to do a lot to the table. Fiji and Roy and Moana Pasifika heading into their games had not won one. And now they're both shifting up the table that little bit more. Oh, that one's just gone the 10 and it's hit Kitty Naholo in the foot, which I believe would then make it a Moana Pasifika line out. And what a fluke pick, says Mr. All-In. And reset Moana Pasifika again. And can you say, go Micah, you're the best, says George. There you go. And Moana doing well on the forwards. Absolutely, like Miracle Whailangi. He's having a field day, just bulldozing over the top of the Canes defence. And those post-contact metres, when they're only 15 or so metres out from the Canes line, are making a huge difference. Now nicely taken. Oh, Samuel Slade, that looked like he was a little bit hurt there. No, he's all right now. Nicely taken at the back from Riley Hohepa, who was met by Lalomilo, and Moana Pasifika almost get the turnover. Plumbers come onto the field. That is for Caleb Delaney. 12 minutes before the end of this game, I would call it. That's the game. Says Vaughan. Moana has the bonus point. They certainly do. Back in the position of 3 or more tries than their opposition. Currently just sitting the 3, so they wouldn't want to leave this one without maybe one more try. That's a knock on from Cam Roigard. They're just getting dominated in this game. The Hurricanes, they don't know what to do. They underestimated Moana Pasifika, not starting Roigard, not starting Karifi, not starting Pasilio Tosi, not starting Xavier Numia. And, you know, they brought those guys on expecting them to be able to change the game and probably expected for them to be up at that point when they came on, but they were far from it. Naholo, he's been out on the wing. He's been very quiet. Sullivan at 13. We've seen him a few times in that first half, not so much in the second. Same for Ruben Love. And the Hurricanes coaches at the moment just scratching their heads, going, what went wrong? I never expected Moana leading Hurricanes, says Sapesa. And bet you didn't expect them to be leading by 21 points. We're talking about a Hurricane side that were top of the table last year. And now they're not. Not at the moment anyway. They've got a little way to go to get there. New Zealand teams are taking teams too lightly. Says Shane Hayes. Yeah, they're just trying to rest teams or players at maybe the wrong time. He touched it with his foot, says Cam Roigard. He's not happy about it. But that's the type of frustration we haven't seen from Roigard before. But this is uncharted territory. The Canes know they shouldn't be losing this game as badly as they are. Here comes Natunani Punivai. Going to go for the chip in behind. I think William Arveli will beat him in the foot race to be able to retreat. Picked up the ball. Dodges one. Does get tackled though. Braden Yossi. And they're going to be 5 metres out now. Scrum feed for the Canes. This is what you get when you underestimate someone. Always play like your opponent is the best in the world, says Nort. And that's shocking Hamish underestimating Moana. And Canes getting a proper stripped, says Kurnovic. Yeah, Punivai didn't get there. Yossi makes a very good low tackle. With the exception of his yellow card, he's had a standout type of game as well for Braden Yossi. Never underestimate the underdogs. Look what's happened to the Hurricanes. Look what happened to the Chiefs. And look what happened to the Blues as well. Brumbies came in as massive underdogs. Hadn't won in Auckland for 12 years. Then they come out and beat them by a narrow margin. Sometimes it's about who's the hungrier side. And at the moment, Moana have shown throughout this game they are extremely hungry. They also score a lot of points. They concede a lot, but they have scored a lot, right? Jackson Garden Bishop making his way onto the field. Of course, ex-Hurricanes player as well. Happy for Artie and Moana Pasifika, as Artie I would have not been wanting to lose to his former franchise. And to be honest, like the headlines that all of the news outlets would have run with if Moana Pasifika had lost would have been something along the lines of Savia chooses the wrong team or something like that. The media would have found a way, but now I think they're going to turn it and say that Savia maybe made the right choice. I've given Moana Pasifika a chance. Highlanders will get a chance to upset them next Friday night, says Shane. And Bishop says Nort. Now, ball is there and available. Big push from Moana Pasifika and too much movement. It's going to use up a bit more time. And Moana holds on there. Says Lai. They've got Kanina Holo out wide. Normally a man that does score quite a lot of tries. And good job of Hurricanes. And Blues park their waka up. Need a few more patch-ups. And you know what a thrashing. And this is one day, or a day no one will forget. Moana Pasifika beat the former Super Rugby champions. Says Vaughan. And I mean, we also saw Fiji and Drua also. Like, it's a great day for the Pacific Islands, isn't it? The fact that both Pacific Island teams are going to get victories. Now, of course, there's still 9 minutes, so I don't want to completely jinx them. Definitely if the Canes score now, there's still slightly a chance that it could change. But Roigard now goes across. That's one try for the Hurricanes. Natunani Punivai, not a lot of time to celebrate. Instead, they have to kick that ball over and keep on moving. Have you ever, by chance, to watch any of the NRL games? I have not. I'll probably watch replays of them during the week. Just catch back up. And drawers in 7th, and Moana might be in 8th place maybe, and the Landers will definitely be wanting to put one on the Canes, says Gus. So that will once again take away the bonus point of Moana Pasifika. Kick has gone over, 8.5 minutes remaining, and the score is 40 points to 26. If somehow, we will quickly mention it, if they do end up scoring 2 more converted tries here, the Hurricanes, we will go to golden point, ladies and gentlemen. There have been many times that Moana should have won games. And even in the case of going to golden point and then have lost. And Canterbury Boys says, Blues, Nate, Hurricanes seem to only get a good season once every few years. And by 21 man, what a great start for me for the weekend. Now, 8 minutes left. Starting to look a little bit more fatigued here, Moana Pasifika. We've got to remember they made a lot of tackles early on in this game. So a few of their starters are now starting to struggle. Nicely taken by Peter Umaga Jensen. Hurricanes really don't have enough time to be kicking this ball back into the hands of Moana. But with that comes the risk. Great fend from the youngster Rover. Looking for the next pass. Gets it to Roigard. He's got a bit of space. He's trying to send Havili the wrong way. Puts on the afterburners and Naholo knocks the ball on. So they will go back for the scrum for Moana Pasifika, but about 80 metres made by the Hurricanes of one run there. Just keeping the ball alive. Roigard trying to send Havili the wrong way. Don't drinks it more. And Canes come back time, says annoying, awesome job Moana, and stay switched on Moana Pasifika. Great run from Rover. Got the offload away to Roigard, who just needed that next pass, but he didn't have Riley Hohepa until the last moment. It was actually on for the inside ball, but Roigard went outside to Naholo, who once again had a fumble. Jamie Joseph is back for the Highlanders, says SS2. And until the whistle blows, says Couture in there. I'm starting to sweat, says Nor. It's going to be a nerve-wracking last 8 minutes or so. Now, perfect scenario here for Moana Pasifika would be to... Oh, okay. Both front rows have been told to stand back up. But yeah, the perfect scenario at the end of this game would be Moana Pasifika can get themselves a 3 points somewhere along the lines, maybe win a scrum penalty here, keep working their way up the field. Hey, mate, when is the next Sevens tournament? It's going to be the end of March is when that one's taking place, and I believe it will be the Hong Kong Sevens. And Game None says Soa Jr. All my friends use Vitbox for sport. What's Cape Town Sevens? Cape Town Sevens, I believe, have already been. South Africa were able to win that one in the shortened format. And come on, Pacifica, get another, boys. Says Matthew. Big push from Moana. And the Hurricanes holding strong, so they do have to use it back into the pocket. Pellegrini. Let's get it into touch. About 22 metres out now. Chance here for the Hurricanes to once again try and fire back in. I've mentioned it multiple times, but 7 minutes left. If the Hurricanes score 2 converted tries, we go to golden point. Unless Moana Pasifika can find some points along the way to extend that lead. And also I should mention, if the Hurricanes were to lose this game by 7, that would still give them the bonus point for being within those 7 points. Thrown in, Samuel Slade, he wanted to steal it. It wasn't the straightest line out we've ever seen. Big fend from Duplessis. Karefi, oh, he's hit his face really hard on the ground. Kenny Naolo with the pick and go. He's also short of the try line. Roigard, who's the pass going to go to? They go out wide. Rover scores it. It's not going to be the easiest kick of the day. Karefi maybe should have passed that ball. He wanted to try and burst his way through. Meet a Maori doctors in Las Vegas. He lived in Germany and he's a member of the Kiwi Lads. End up talking about Hamish and his good works. Says Blues, Nate. A great run from Duplessis. Karefi knocks the ball back and then Kini Naholo try. Oh, I think Naholo actually got that ball down. So they might have to check that. Because if Kini Naholo's got it, that makes the kick a lot easier for the Hurricanes. Right, the timer's off at the moment. I think they're going to check this. And I think there might also be foul play that Karefi is asking about. Okay. The ref has just said, trust us to get the calls right. But I would have loved to see that Naholo one, whether or not he did get the grounding. This will be some comeback, says Stephen. Right, the try is good. It's not going to be the easiest kick of the day for Harry Godfrey. He would have much preferred that one straight out in front of the post as he has missed this one. Now, that is a substantial moment in this game, ladies and gents. Whether or not that was an earlier try for Naholo. Looked like he wasn't a mile away from the line, but they will still take the try. They are not within 7 at the moment. Come on, Moana Pasifika, says Novmum. Hurricanes can win this. They certainly can. How many more minutes? Still another 5.5 minutes remaining. Time is going very slow for Moana Pasifika. I mentioned about it. They've had so many games that they've been close to winning that have then been stolen from them in the final moments. We have to look no further than the earlier game of this contest. Now, taken by Peter Lakai. One big penalty here for Moana Pasifika, and it might make the difference. Moana, you joking, says Debater. Now past him behind, Riley Hohepa sells the dummy, goes through, offloads to now Harry Godfrey with the step. Does it twice, can't get the offload to Cam Roigard though. Now ball's still there for the Hurricanes. There's a knock-on called. They're not happy about it there, the Canes. They almost can't believe that one. And good break, and keep your head in the game, Moana Pasifika, and go Moana, says Asotolau. And Showtime, says Blues Nate. And Canes needed that to go over. Come on, says Gus. Godfrey needed that to go to Roigard, but I think it was the arm. The way that the tackle was made by Asia Halo actually tied up that passing option. Stopped him from getting it away. But now 4 minutes remaining. The Hurricanes are not sitting in a position where they do get a bonus point, just as we currently are. Only 1 to 12 Moana, says him. Well, you're sitting there at the moment. Crowd are starting to get a little bit more nervous by the looks of it. Hello, says Big Roll Bros. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Oh, another stoppage. Hurricanes, they want this game to go just that little bit quicker. Moana trying to give the coach and the fans a heart attack, says Nor. Artie Savia, they are just showing there for the Hurricanes. Had 131 games, 32 tries, and a Super Rugby title. People that bet it on this round will lose money, says Shane. Unless you bet on the underdogs, then you will win quite a lot. Our first win, says Soa Jr. And yeah, it's going to be much more of a, or have much more meaning, I guess you could say, for those guys who were at the Hurricanes who have now gone to Moana Pasifika, like Savia, Tamatine. Those type of individuals. Big push from Moana, and they've got the penalty advantage. Time at the moment, 3 minutes remaining. Oh, Tupasi Karifi pushes over Tamatine, and that's just frustration from Karifi, knowing that they have been outplayed and outclassed. And Moana Pasifika, they now can use up an extra minute. This is why rugby is the most entertaining sport in the world. That's it there. Let's go Moana, says Viliami. And Stoke Ferrari, says Gus, in the crowd singing, says Shane. 3 minutes, says Ronnie Peters. That is all the time remaining that Moana have to hang on to this ball and at worst concede 1 try. That's like, at worst comes to worst. They would give the point. Yeah, we're going to see it there. So, Karifi just pushing Tamatine over. I think he was trying to fire him up to see if he could get it bad enough that he could reverse that penalty. That was probably the tactic there. If Godfrey kicked the conversion, the Canes would have been more conviction to try, but not to be. CSS2, they've managed to steal that one now, though. Peter Lakai going off the right-hand side. Also, if Kini Naholo had scored between the posts like it almost looked like he could have, that would have made it a lot easier of a kick. Slip and slide was fun at Churchill Park. Now the Hurricanes, though, they've got 90 seconds remaining. They're at the situation soon that if Kanina Holo bumps off one, if they score within the next kind of 30 or so seconds, they might even say, we don't want to take the 3, or we don't want to take the 2, sorry. We just want to keep on going. Now, Tupasi Karefi thought about the offload to Riley Hohepa, decides against it. No advantage here, Moana Pasifika. Honestly, game management-wise, what's Godfrey doing here? Looking for a 50-22, I believe. And he does not get it, so they'll go right back. So rugby is back, says Gus. Mind games going on the field. OG Hurricanes will lose, says Hey Hey, and GG says Soa Jr. Yeah, now 40 seconds left. Now, all the Hurricanes are going to need is a try to get the best case scenario for them, which is a bonus point for losing by 7. The Chiefs were able to do it. The Blues were able to do it. Is Damien injured with the Chiefs, or was he rested? He had a bit of an injury. I don't think it was as severe as they expected, but they still didn't want to take any risks for him in that last game. Hold on, Moana, a decent scalp. But you need to concentrate on a better last 20 performance. Get that last 20 stamina / fitness sorted. And you do a lot better, says Gunovic. And now thrown in, nicely claimed by the Hurricanes again. Charging forward. Is there still time on the clock for them to go for the drop kick? Maybe not now. I was just thinking if they got a drop kick, then a converted try would actually get them the win here. But, of course, it's a little bit of a risk. Oh, and that's going to be dumb. Isaiah Walker-Leawiri diving it off his feet, knocks the ball free, and Moana Pasifika kick it into touch. They will win their first game of the season, and the Canes, they'll have a lot to go back to on the drawing board. They made many mistakes in this contest, including selection, taking Moana Pasifika lightly, going with their big players off the bench rather than in the starting lineup, and Savia, with a big smile on his face, will be extremely happy with what his side has done. We have got there, I reckon they will take a round to Fiji. Says Gus, what do you think of Sunday Rugby and what a win? Yeah, it's going to be an awesome game seeing Reds versus the Crusaders tomorrow. We've already seen plenty of upsets. That's 3 from 3 now for this round of Super Rugby. We'll have to wait and see whether we see 5 from 5 by the end of the match. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Probably man of the match for me has to go to Faialangi, managing to get himself the hat trick. 3 extremely crucial tries when you look at the overall outcome of this match. Told you as I will cost the Hurricanes the game, says Daryl. Geez, so much great commentary, says Mr. Orlin. And thank you, says Robert, in there as well. So the next game that I am doing will be at 12:50. And that one's going to be between the Sharks and the Lions. Then the game after that will be the match between France and Ireland in the Six Nations. So a massive one in that regard. And then the last match that's going to be taking place will be the one between the Welsh and the Scottish too. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.